grabaron el video.
No.
For the four men in the front. The lead bar no longer cooperating. 62.8 kilometers to go. Peloton led by the teammates of Tom Pidcock. Let's see if Tom Pidcock cannot deliver for TD 36.5 at the finish line. Big climbs to the end. Labor Day savings. Turn your projects into Labor Supply.
All in these fall colors.
Y se lo saca todo en la mañana.
Sí.
Labor Day savings at the Home Depot.
Y antes que me voy, lo... Bueno, él como que tiene un
A large touchscreen is everything happy. All super cross-track. Don't test it. Don't prove. Get 1.9% APR for 63 months on select Subaru cross-track models. Straight to Subaru and lots of love event.
My job is taking care of victims.
I promise you're going to let out and save me, and I'm going to keep my promise. We have an opportunity to make a real statement here. I'll do what needs to be done. Go. Get down here.
What do we got?
Are we going to let the killer walk free? It's time to introduce ourselves. Where's the roof?
Just feeling like a guilty verdict.
Law and Order, streaming now. Watch NBC on Peacock.
It's game time. BetMGM's longest home run of the day bet. If your player hits the longest blast, you win. And track your bets live or combine them into a same-game parlay for an even bigger payout. New customers get a welcome offer up to $1,500 paid in bonus bets if you don't win. BetMGM, the sportsbook where we know how to treat you right.
At Corient, wealth management begins and ends with you. We believe the more personal the solution, the more powerful the result. We treat your goals as our own. We never lose focus on the life you want to build. And our experienced advisors design custom-built strategies to help you get there. It's time for a wealth management experience as sophisticated as you are. It's time for Corient.
Is your asthma rescue a dinosaur? Air Super is the only asthma rescue inhaler FDA approved to treat symptoms and help prevent asthma attacks. Air Super should not be used as a maintenance treatment for asthma. Get medical help right away if your breathing doesn't improve or worsens, or for serious allergic reactions like rash, mouth or tongue swelling, trouble breathing or swallowing, or chest pain. Using Air Super more than prescribed could be life-threatening. Serious side effects include increased risk of thrush or infections or heart problems like faster heart rate and higher blood pressure. Ask your doctor if Air Super is right for you. Say you get a home on Airbnb with a chef's kitchen. Now you can get a chef on Airbnb to cook in it. Or if you get a ski house, now you can get an après ski massage. Or if you get a place in the clouds, now you can get a yoga teacher to keep you grounded. Homes, experiences, and 6.5 continuing to lead the chase. It's been Javier Azcaret, the Spanish rider on that team, throughout the day stage. So earning his bowl of pasta at the finish. And I would imagine that Tom Pidcock is very interested in trying to deliver a stage win for that team today. Absolutely. Definitely been on the list. Along with Jacoby. Of course, you have Jonas Bingo on there. Almeida. Pidcock's a big one here. So it's not a straight up out slide. This is a climb that's only 5% quite shallow. So it's not with about 2 kilometers to go. It's really go deeper. It has that kick to the line. And Pidcock obviously does have that big. I mean, think about yesterday, Bob. He was top 10 in a full-blown sprint yesterday. So that really shows you that he's really has the snap in his legs. It's really about the fitness as well. He already has the snap, that's one thing, but of course you need to have the fitness. It's going to be interesting to see who really takes this climb out. For example, if Visma is going to go flat out, that would make it a lot harder for Tom Pidcock to be able to perform in this last kilometer when you need to have the legs. So if Jonas is all in for this, and they have Seth, Mateo, Wilco, and of course we have Camping Yards going nuts at the bottom, that'll make it a lot harder for Pidcock. But if it's a little bit more subdued, especially in the first half of this climb, it's a fantastic opportunity for him, as Ciccone as well. A lot up for grabs. Also, most likely, the next leader of the Vuelta a España. That could be a big incentive for Tom Pidcock.
stage win will translate to the next red jersey. We're expecting the sprinter Jasper Philipsen, who's leading, to not be a factor at the finish. Men in the yellow and black jerseys from Visma, and the rider with a special helmet, Jonas Vingegaard. There's Giulio Ciccone, also number 23, so might be one of Vingegaard's main competitors on today's stage. But let's hear from the Danish star. A lot of pressure for him on his shoulders throughout the Vuelta to deliver the win at the end. But let's see if we can divine any of his intentions on today's stage from his interview at the start, just before today's stage started.
Does it look like an important stage for you today?
I think for sure it will be an important stage for the GC. It's an opportunity and we have to be ready for the race and maybe the favorite layout or maybe a breakaway stage will be interesting to see.
Would you like to get the red jersey early or waiting for the biggest mountain?
No, I mean, on one hand it would be nice to get into the red jersey already, but it's also not we don't win the race today, so it's better to have the red jersey later on.
Have you asked the Zed Push to stay with you this time? Not to take the red jersey first?
Oh, no, I mean, we talked about our plan and we have a plan for today and for the race. We will execute it.
I'm sure what they're saying is that they have a plan, and we will find out what that is in about 50 kilometers time. Until then, Jonas explaining that it might not be the most important GC day, but his team is incredibly stacked, Christian, so it's got to do something at least on today's stage. It's going to be very intriguing. I think that that's got to be close to the stage win, if not get the time bonus and the win on today's stage, Christian.
Yeah, especially if there's that opportunity, it feels good. I mean, first and foremost, stay safe. I think there's going to be a massive scrum at the bottom of this climb, and even in the bottom couple of kilometers of this climb, to make sure everyone is safe and sound. And after that, there's going to be a decent-sized group by the back. I think it's at least 30 or so riders, maybe even 40 towards the top 2 kilometers. And really, again, like I was mentioning earlier, I think it's mostly about this team and how hard they usually go at the bottom to really stretch things out and make it hard.
So Zingle from the team with Jonas Vingegaard going a little bit forward to grab Amizet. Well done. Nice to see that this feed zone is on the uphill section of the race course. Dark red taken out, light red upcoming. And right in the middle of the red hues is the finishing climb. Caricatune, Limone Piemonte has been used in another Grand Tour, the Tour of Italy, but that's been over 20 years ago. And Stefano Garcelli winning on that occasion. 4 riders up the road, but now only just over 1 minute advantage over the peloton, closing in on the last 35 miles of today's stage and an uphill to the finish line.
The moment I loved our Subaru Outback most was the moment they walked away from it. And that's why our family will only drive a Subaru.
Subaru is rated #1 in safety, higher than any other automotive brand. Love, it's what makes Subaru, Subaru.
Get 0.9% APR financing on new Outback models during the Subaru A Lot to Love sales event. Living with your albuterol asthma rescue inhaler? It's a bit of a dinosaur, because albuterol only treats symptoms, not inflammation. Asthma experts support rescue that treats both symptoms and inflammation. It's time to replace your rescue with Air Suprap. Air Suprap is the first and only dual-action asthma rescue inhaler FDA approved to treat symptoms and help prevent asthma attacks. Welcome to the modern age of dual-action asthma rescue. Air Supra should not be used as a maintenance treatment for asthma. Get medical help right away if your breathing doesn't improve or worsens, or for serious allergic reactions like rash, mouth or tongue swelling, trouble breathing or swallowing, or chest pain. Using Air Supra more than prescribed could be life-threatening. Serious side effects include increased risk of thrush or infections, or heart problems like faster heart rate and higher blood pressure. For your medication, AstraZeneca may be able to help. Ask your doctor about Air Supra, a dual-action rescue inhaler for asthma.
Whoa, it's the Capital One Bank guy. That's me. Could we get a selfie? Of course. There's no fees or minimums on your Capital One checking account.
Ooh.
So, what do you do outside of Capital One Bank?
What do you mean?
I can see alcohol or...
Tight. Don't let the old fat fight. What's in your heart?
Get same-day delivery and then text a personal shopper for last-minute dishes. Just tap Target. If you love to travel, Capital One has a rewards credit card that opens up a world of possibilities. With Venture X, you earn unlimited double miles on everything you buy. And turn all of your purchases into extraordinary trips. Plus, get premium benefits at a collection of luxury hotels when you book on Capital One Travel. And get access to over 1,000 airport lounges worldwide. Open up a world of possibilities with Capital One. What's in your wallet?
Status quo, well established with Q36.5. I'm impressed that they've taken up the reins on the chase. If they hadn't done so, Christian, the breakaway might have a much more significant advantage in 1 minute and 34 seconds that they have right now, and making the stage win almost a foregone conclusion for the peloton. But if Tom Pidcock's team had not done this, I don't know who might have done so. So it might have been a very different tactical situation.
I think Trek, and there's a lot of times teams play chicken, don't they, that where these big guys, I'm not going to pull, you're going to have to pull, but they always know that if push comes to shove, they're going to go up there in the front and do some work. But I think Leo Trek might have been the second team to give it a go toward the front, but the only problem is if you are the first team who does blitz, then you know what, you're going to have to pull for the entire day, and it's going to be a long day. It hasn't been under massive pressure, that's for sure. I mean, that Super 4 realized that immediately that they had really no chance of making the finish line. Maybe there's a flat day, they have a little bit of a chance, but considering they're going up a 6-mile climb to the finish line, they could have this gap at the bottom of the climb. They wouldn't even make it barely halfway up the climb before they got caught.
And presumably Leo Trek would have done the tempo for Giulio Adone as Italian identity for the team with the management company, and of course Giulio Ciccone, one of the big stars of Italian cycling, very successful pro. Up and down in the GC for the Grand Tours, but most certainly has the ability to win a stage like today.
K1 Jersey winner, the Tour stage winner, so he's got some serious kicks. So I think he truly does have this stage earmarked for a long time, especially again, Italian ground, like you just mentioned, it's a big deal for them. And let's not forget, after yesterday not having a great stage at all, the Mats Pedersen, so that, you know, they're up for the fight here today.
Yeah, that might be the most important piece of the puzzle, that Pedersen was barely in the top 20 in a stage, and he should have been first three most certainly. Yeah, the type of team that likes to rectify their defeats immediately. So watch for Giulio Ciccone at least to be up there in the sprint to the line today. Starting to get into the mountains now. So the flatlands of the Po River Valley, and the start town of Alba, in the rice fields, through the vineyards, and now we are getting into the big climbs to the finish line, and the gorgeous Italian side of the Alps, and throughout Santa Lucia right there, just above the race course. Beautiful content at the top of the race course. Stations of the Cross, it start at the valley and climb to the top. Take a knee all the way to the top. Big names in this year's Vuelta a España. Guy Hindley, winner of the Giro. Maybe go, of course, the hot favorite. You got two teammates that could be up there also. Silverson and Cruz. The two UAE riders, Joel Almeida and Juan Ayuso, but also Felix Gale and Bernal, Mikel Landa, giving it a go throughout. We imagine, and watch for Ben O'Connor from the Jayco squad to be a contender in the GC also. Could be a very dangerous rider for Jonas Vingegaard.
Yeah, a lot of danger out there, and it's very possible it's not necessarily a true GC contender who wins the stage. As well, we spoke about Legolotti, rider from Monaco, not far away from Monaco, by the way, at the finish line, up and over. This climb goes right into France. You're right on the border at the finish line for the most part. And a lot of these riders go up and ride in those climbs, so he'll know this just like in his own backyard. The berries outside Butrago, Big Fisher Polaris course, and then if everything goes really sideways, you know, I don't think it's going to happen, but it's a crazy long shot. Mads Pedersen, who knows? We've seen crazier things, but I just had to say that. Just so we're covered, Bob. But I think it's a 0.01% percentile chance that he does so, but again, that guy, he's done some insane things before. I don't think it's going to happen today, but he's definitely at least helping out Ciccone. Ciccone's done so much work for Matt, especially when you think about what he did for him in the Giro d'Italia earlier this year, getting those stage wins before he crashed out.
You can never go wrong by including Mads Pedersen and just about any competitive situation in professional cycling, and I would add comfort taking that as well to that list.
Well, of course, sorry. I thought that was obvious with them out in front, but yes, no, you're right. 100%. Yeah, that's a great point. But bringing Tom Pickup is a great example of that. I don't have him in really being a favorite for the general classification, but I think he's one of the favorites for the stage, for sure.
Yeah. Old school, if the radio doesn't work, just yell at your rider. Which was, until recent years, pretty much what everybody had to do. From Truba, back to the team car, Caja Rural. Roccaforte Mondove, small village here, as the flatlands of Piemonte give way to the mountains and gorgeous climbs up towards the border with France, throughout this region in Italy. I'm so happy that they're welcoming visiting some of the iconic climbs from the Giro d'Italia. 4 riders in the front, now moving out to almost a 2-minute advantage with 48 kilometers of racing to go, led by Schwab from Lara.
Asthma, does it have you missing out on what you love, like who you love? Get back to better breathing with Fasenra, an add-on treatment for eosinophilic asthma taken once every 8 weeks. Fasenra is not for sudden breathing problems. Serious allergic reactions may occur. Get help for swelling of your face, mouth, tongue, or trouble breathing. Don't stop your asthma treatments without talking with your doctor. Tell your doctor if your asthma worsens or you have a parasitic infection, headache, and sore throat. Ask your doctor if Fasenra is right for you.
SandCloud shows the Capital One Sparkcast Plus. Their business earns unlimited cash back on everything they buy. They get big purchasing power so their business can spend more and earn more. What's the know?
Get a lot 2-topping Crazy Crust pizza for $6.99 from Little Caesars. Look at that buttery flavored garlic spread sprinkled with Parmesan. Try Crazy Crust for $6.99 for a limited time. Pizza. But wait! I need to mention how there's over a dozen toppings to choose from. Pizza. But wait, I want to reiterate how legit this Crazy Crust is. Oh, Little Caesars is the real deal. But wait! Gotcha!
What if your dream was to build the fastest car ever? But then when you got older, what did you realize the world needed something more adventurous? So what if you built something that could climb mountains, or go swimming? What if it was all electric and super fast and built for the future? I mean, what if they like it, or even you guys like it? And oh yeah, I used to make it really fast. What if this whole wild adventure was already happening, and if it was just a start?
An unprecedented transcontinental race begins on Nintendo Switch 2. Mario Kart World, game rated E for everyone. Same old phone? Nah, this is my mic check. And mix all in. Oil peanut. They brag about intelligence. Even no way they can predict my next move. Can your phone do that?
Did you know Vodka has a 97% customer satisfaction rate?
Is it weird seeing yourself on TV?
It's my job, isn't it? To let people know that Geico's more than just savings.
Remember, catch attention.
Wow. Here's so.
What? They just love great customer service.
Customer service.
They don't get this excited for wet foods. You know?
No.
Guys, he's right here. Get more than just savings. Get more with Geico. Valvoline Restore and Protect. A first-of-its-kind innovation that returns pistons to factory clean by removing up to 100% of deposits. Restore your engine to perform like...
It seems as if now, Christian, the breakaway has decided to go pretty much all in for the rest of the stage. And the entirety of the Q36.5 team with Tom Pitcock doing the tempo, but now the advantage about 2 minutes for the breakaway. They must be going a lot harder than they have been throughout.
Absolutely, Bob. It is a game that's been played many times, especially when you realize that you don't have the strength in the breakaway. You don't have an opportunity to really do anything but go back in and out. There's some attacks going on now. Didn't expect to see this. Still with 46 kilometers to go.
So Truba is the rider from Colorado who was just back at the team car. So the instructions saying, go on the attack now. It does course generally uphill all the way to the finish line. And it seems like Levar, the only rider from the breakaway, able to cover that move so far.
It's a nice little kicker in that. Go downhill and course back uphill again, but yeah, just falls flat, like you said, about all the way to the rock base of this climb. But this is the hardest place where you could truly make the difference. Now they're out taking full advantage of this small climb.
About 27 miles of racing to go. The last 6 of those all up on a tough climb. 5 points in the KOM competition at the finish line. Levar, he's been sitting on for a long time, so no surprise that he might have a little bit more energy than the other riders in the breakaway, but it seems like Otrula is the strongest from the point in the front.
Agreed 100%, but this is exactly what you think that would not happen, honestly, about when you have those 4 riders and everyone's been working together for the most part, apart from Gilmar, like you mentioned, then just try to go all in as long as you possibly can in the front, but realizing that tempo is harder than they possibly can, than going 0 chance to even make it to the base of the climb before the peloton takes their helmet off from behind.
So this is Fernandez Sinue. He had a long solo bridge from the peloton to the breakaway earlier in the stage, so it's not a real surprise that he's been the first rider dropped. Apparently made it into the breakaway, but Slock grinding his way back to the front too, might be able to get there before the final miles of the race, so hasn't given up yet, so that's impressive to see from the Lotto rider.
You see this more times often than not with the bigger breakaways, Bob. You see this with, especially when we saw it on the tour with 20 plus riders. You really want to have the break from the break, the fuga from the fuga. Try to distance yourself, because a lot of times there's too many passengers on the grid, and not everyone is giving their all. But if you're realizing that you're much stronger than the others, the best thing to do is to attack. And with the flat roads that we previously raced upon, there really wasn't that opportunities to distance yourself from others. So the one time you do have this nice little kicker, take full advantage. And I like the tax. If you have the legs, go for it. Nothing to lose at this point in time, is it? I mean, really. I mean, let's be realistic. They're not going to make it to the finish line, so might as well go all in. You've already damaged yourself by being up in front for the last 80 miles or so go for it.
Hang on to the bitter end from the breakaway. Why not?
Yeah, why not?
There's Tom Pitcock, slightly different helmet from his teammates on Q36.5, and Slock grinding his way back to the attack there from Otruba. Impressive ride by the Belgian on the Lotto team. They'll get over the top of this little climb, and it seems like a little bit more rain at the top of this hill. Might be a different story on the other side. Could be raining harder, or it could be bone dry. But some wet roads, as opposed to the lower slope where the peloton is still dry, but they'll get to that route. see that time gap increase after that attack up and over that small climb there. In the G36.5, they don't necessarily need to keep them that tight here. They're going to take so much time back on them. Even the push and shove from different teams at the base of the climb, before the base of the climb, just to make sure that all the riders, the protected riders, are towards the front. Because there's going to be so many riders being dropped and building their way towards the back. You want to be towards the front of the peloton, not on the front of the peloton, but towards the front. If you're thinking about each one going to the stage. Throughout the day, the isolation Christian advantage rider on the pit top squad. He's been the man doing the tempo. 2 minutes and 8 seconds behind the breakaway. So it does seem like a little bit more rain on the other side of this hill. It's going to be tricky. You'll most likely see a little bit of fight for position with all the riders towards the top of this upcategorized spot, just to make sure that they're towards the front of this descent. Belgian, Slovenian, and Czech rider in the breakaway now. Away, drop, and Nico Dents volunteering to drop out of the breakaway earlier in the stage. 60 k's an hour, slowing down a little bit for the corners in the rain. That's understandable. Let's hope that everybody gets through there safely. One of the best headlines so far in the Vuelta. I don't think we've seen one single crash. That's pretty amazing. Probably never happened in a Grand Tour before.
Might be a record. Might be a record, especially considering it was a sprint stage with the red jersey on the line. You know exactly what happened in the first stage of the Tour de France, and there was many crashes. Even when we thought that was pretty much over and safe, there's still a crash in the front group with Ben O'Connor going down through all this.
Right. This is 5 k's to go. The back is a sprint group, so bad luck for O'Connor. That ripple effect throughout the Tour de France for Ben O'Connor. To stay safe. Still the big mountains of the Vuelta, but didn't come back for a big stage win. But pulled it over 2 minutes and 12 seconds. So increasing the lead as the effort increases with the breakaway. 41.7 Ks, just about 26 miles of racing to go.
A large touchscreen keeps everyone happy. The all-new Subaru Crosstrek. Dog tested, dog approved. Get 1.9% APR for 63 months on select Subaru Crosstrek models. You'll see people lots of other them. It's not just a burrito, it's tempo.
Really fresh. Really green.
Every day.
It's fun to read. Without that bad stuff, there's magic happening.
Best of the best, being 100% beyond literally massive deliciousness. All for like $10.
This is where it happened. People still come up to me and talk about it. When you're in it, you're not thinking of the stories will tell. Just get yourself in the right position. You never know when a player will become legendary. When the moment comes, will you be ready?
Make it a season you'll never forget when you bet on baseball. BetMGM Sportsbook. Make it legendary.
At Corient, wealth management begins and ends with you. We believe the more personal the solution, the more powerful the result. We treat your goals as our own. We never lose focus on the life you want to build. And our experienced advisors design custom-built strategies to help you get there. It's time for a wealth management experience as sophisticated as you are. It's time for Corient.
Asthma was making me miss out on things I love, like spending time with my kids. My treatment plan was not doing enough for me. I was concerned about future attacks. So I asked my doctor if we could do more. He ran some tests and recommended adding Fasenra.
Fasenra is an add-on treatment for eosinophilic asthma.
Now I'm breathing better. I haven't had an asthma attack in a year, and I'm back to the things I've missed. Like cheering for my boys. Let's go! Running my shop and spending time with friends.
Fasenra is not for sudden breathing problems. Serious allergic reactions may occur. Get help for swelling of your face, mouth, tongue, or trouble breathing. Don't stop asthma treatments without talking with your doctor. Tell your doctor if your asthma worsens or you have a parasitic infection. Headache and sore throat may occur.
Haven't you missed enough? Be your own best advocate. Ask your doctor about placenta.
If you can't afford your medication, AstraZeneca may be able to help.
Even when U.S. soccer star Mallory Swanson isn't on the field, she always makes the perfect play. With a Bank of America customized cash rewards Visa card, she'll earn 6% cash back in the category of her choice, like online shopping, for the first year from account opening.
These leggings? New? No, I wash them 3 times a week with Brazil, and they're still ready for work. This class, this strength, this move. Brazil's unique formula means activewear always stays fresh. Wash with Brazil Activewear.
Well, a dramatic difference in weather on the other side of that little climb that the entire peloton's just gone over. Big rain now before the final miles of the race, and sad to report the first crash of the Vuelta seems to have fallen. No images so far of Guillaume Martin from the Groupama team. No trouble for the breakaway to get through these miles, but now coursing uphill all the way to the finish line after that little descent. Guillaume Martin had been reported to have fallen, but quickly back on his bike and into the field.
These roads in this region, especially if they have the rain, like we mentioned earlier, can be very slippery, and there's really the only opportunity to have a big fall. And of course, if it does happen, look at the felt now. Looks like maybe a little bit of crossing as well, but they're fanned out a little bit from the left to the right on our screen right now.
A big team effort by Tom Philcott's squad. Imagining that it was clear that he was going for the stage win, but now, more emphatic and putting real pressure on. The advantage to the breakaway, 209, because of the much more heavy pedaling, but especially Platoon from the breakaway, putting in a big attack. This is the rider that bridged up at the very last moment. Fernandez, and this only rider dropped from the leading four, but probably caught going the wrong direction at the moment for Fernandez, but a good effort to find the breakaway. Took him a long time to get there, Christian. Yeah, understandable pain for that drop. Yeah.
Yeah, but only one that breakaway had to do an individual time shot to reach that breakaway, so definitely pain for not being uber aware at the beginning of the race. And if you're on Burgos and you see that Conor Rell, those guys fight tooth and nail to always be in those breakaway area. Off the back here, the KOMs are having a little bit of a hard time with it.
Back to the team truck for the rain vest.
Most likely.
Having a tough time getting back on the wheels of the field. These ones in the yellow and black queued up. Sure, they won't be very far from the front for the rest of today's stage to keep you on the speed and go safe for the last climb to the line.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of push and shoving. This is going to be touch and go for many riders, especially now with the rain coming into the picture as well. That's going to be very dodgy. I think they'll be very happy just to get on the climb where it gets a little bit safer, but on the way up, it won't be the crazy high speeds that we see many times, as it, like you said earlier, gradual uphill all the way.
Now just over 2 minutes advantage for the 3 leaders. Not far from the final 20 miles of racing and the final climb to the finish line.
A large touchscreen keeps everyone happy. The Subaru Crosstrek. Dog tested, dog proof. Get 1.9% APR for 63 months on select Subaru Crosstrek models during the Subaru and Love to Love event.
Seen on tour, week in, week out. The Vantage Scouts, putting more distance and control into more pro bags. The #1 driver shaft worldwide 5 years running. Vantage Uchikura.
Is your asthma rescue a dinosaur? Air Super is the only asthma rescue inhaler FDA approved to treat symptoms and help prevent asthma attacks. Air Super should not be used as a maintenance treatment for asthma. Get medical help right away if your breathing doesn't improve or worsens, or for serious allergic reactions like rash, mouth or tongue swelling, trouble breathing or swallowing, or chest pain. Using Air Super more than prescribed could be life-threatening. Serious side effects include increased risk of thrush or infections, or heart problems like faster heart rate and higher blood pressure. Ask your doctor if Air Super is right for you.
Whoa, it's the Capital One bank guy. That's me. Come we can help you. Of course. Say no fees or minimums on your Capital One checking account.
Ooh,
So, what do you do outside the Capital One cafe?
what do you mean?
Like when you go home and...
Tight. Don't let the overdraft fees bite. What's in your wallet?
2, please. Make that 3. Redeem Capital One savings card. You earn unlimited 3% cash back on gas and entertainment. 3% cash back on salt. 3% cash back on sleep. No, it's working 3 hours, right?
Good call.
Yeah, I'm in this one. Get your $10 off my 3% cash back. Oh, perfect delivery. What's in your wallet?
Did the taco god
Standing still taco. Golly gee.
Venga a ver sus espectadores, tiene 10 personas ahí. Viendo anuncios.
They nearly got a hair like Schwarzkopf.
I never learned how to say please.
Comí helada, dije Gael.
Ya terminó, ¿eh?
Schwarzkopf. What story will you tell?
Schwarzkopf. Dare to tell your story with Keratin Blonde by Schwarzkopf. Light your hair up to 9 levels and protect it from breakage with our bond enforcement system. Let your hair tell your story. Schwarzkopf Keratin Blonde. What story will you tell?
Camila, que se hizo.
Significant effect on the Groupama squad.
Ay, anda con mi teléfono.
Gil Martin out of the Vuelta, rather shockingly, Christian. Didn't get to see the images of that crash, at least yet, but Gil Martin, the first casualty of this year's Vuelta España.
It's a shame, isn't it, Bobby? The first opportunity for some danger. It's hard. Gil Martin, the rider, he's always on the attack, especially in the Vuelta España. I think about the aspirations that David got to his teammate there. Gil Martin was going to be a big proponent of that.
Dangerously close to the back of the peloton. You want to get it closer to the front, right?
Not good. They're not going slow anymore as well. Insane. Pace setter in Asper has been so impressive all by himself. That's not good as well.
Godu, not the best descender. It's a very cautious rider. He'll be glad when the descending is over for today's stage, I'm sure.
Honestly, there really isn't much descending to be had, is there? I mean, it's pretty much all false flat uphill. Got dude way out of place right now. This is not the place to be with that whiplash back, especially with the braking going into these wet corners. Got to be a night for a GC.
He'll go to see his teammate, Paul, Martin, maybe losing his nerve a little bit, sitting at the very back.
Tiene frío,
Might have been back assessing, communicating with Gil Martin after Martin's crash, but
Tengo una tarea de lavar
get to the bottom of the last climb in that position. David Godu, there's no chance to catch the leaders as they sprint up the final climb. That's certainly the case.
Ayer ya querían que me
Charisma up the front here is doing a fantastic job there.
Oye, anda un montón de
Asper been hailing in for a heroic ride he's been doing, being able to keep this breakaway at bay for the most part. But he's not just brought 20 seconds back by himself, and not easy to get the peloton as we saw the back with Gadu.
Asper has done this since the beginning of the stage, so to still have the legs to be driving, that's very impressive. When he pulls off, all the teammates in front of Tom Pidcock on that squad, so plenty of firepower still to come for the Q36.5 team. It looks like today they are on a very good ride. Fourth wheel, right in front of Tom Pidcock, could be Ciccone. That would be bad news for the Trek squad. Quick wheel change. See if any of his teammates on legal Trek come to the back.
Looked a little bit like Carlos Verona. You can barely see though.
Carlos Verona, indeed the rider from Lido Trek, stage winner in the Vuelta.
mechanical there. But that's not an indication of the rest of the teams. Tires on a wet day. He did have a couple of in the neutral section.
Get ready for
changing the tire pressure. So always a tricky for rolling resistance and puncture resistance. Tires critical. 153 is the advantage to the 3 leaders now. Just around 20 miles of racing to go, and a GC day on the offering at the finish line.
Making beach challenge. Now that's serious business. The guys at SoundCloud chose a serious business card. The Spark Cash Plus card from Capital One. Their business earns unlimited 2% cash back on everything they buy. Like this fabulous bag. They get big purchasing power so their business can spend more and earn more.
Our 2% cash back helps us build our retail store.
You need a place to sell all these great looking towels. What's in your wallet?
Any tequila is fine.
Amigo, any tequila is not fine. Drink what we drink in Mexico.
Living with your albuterol asthma rescue inhaler? It's a bit of a dinosaur, because albuterol only treats symptoms, not inflammation. Asthma experts support rescue that treats both symptoms and inflammation. It's time to replace your rescue with Air Supra. Air Supra is the first and only dual-action asthma rescue inhaler FDA approved to treat symptoms and help prevent asthma attacks. Welcome to the modern age of dual-action asthma rescue. Air Supra should not be used as a maintenance treatment for asthma. Get medical help right away if your breathing doesn't improve or worsens, or for serious allergic reactions like rash, mouth or tongue swelling, trouble breathing or swallowing, or chest pain. Using Air Supra more than prescribed could be life-threatening. Serious side effects include increased risk of thrush or infections, or heart problems like faster heart rate and higher blood pressure. Can't afford your medication? AstraZeneca may be able to help. Ask your doctor about Air Supra, a dual-action rescue inhaler for asthma.
Introducing the new Nintendo Switch 2 system. All together, anytime, anywhere. Same old phone? Nah, this is my mic check and mix all in. They brag about intelligence, but no way they can predict my next phone. Can your phone do that? This is the new star of the seas. Book your vacation today.
Crash in the middle of the peloton. George Bennett having a tough time getting back up on his feet, not looking stable at all, Christian.
This is not what you want to see. Just had a great interview with him from before the stage. Ambitions going for stages is not how you want to start your Vuelta. Tricky situations, hard to go back and forth with having your glasses on and off, wheel spray coming from the road. Tough conditions, most likely just clipped a wheel or that curve on the right-hand side. But George going down hard right now.
Mira,
See, a little bit of a right-hand bend. Sometimes the paint on the road's incredibly slick. We just see him here in the middle of the group, down on the ground and moving very slowly, trying to get back up on his feet.
You saw the curve actually come back out into the street. And so George thought that the road was opening up there on the right-hand side, and when the curve coming back to that bumble. Oh. Good to see him back on the bike at least, as opposed to Kim Martin. So getting tougher. tougher for George Bennett, and while we were on the break, the motorbikes, the race marshals trying to get around the peloton not having it. Just that level of nervousness caused George Bennett to move there. Definitely a different compartment. Q36.5 on the left-hand side of the screen, right-hand side of the road, still trying to stay near the front, but every other team at the peloton, it seems like they're to the front now and trying to do the big lead out before the bottom of the final climb of the day.
Yeah, the scrum for the front is so hard. It's not one team really pulling them up. At this point in time, it's really Asper just doing everything he can, just even stay ahead of the other teams, pushing and shoving to the front, get towards the front, stay towards the front. Especially after you hear those crashes, you hear carbon fiber going down the road. It's the worst sound there can be. And that just elevates the tension within the peloton as well.
Riders still in the front. Lead dog number 74, and this is that wild battle for position all the way across the highway, every single team. And I was wondering what the heck happened. Magnus Sheffield off the back a little bit for the Diesel squad, but now they're moving into position on the right-hand side of the road.
No number plate on the back of Magnus's bike usually tells me that he has already had a flat tire. So it's almost like a flat tire for Magnus.
UAE on the left-hand side of the road, and Jaco having a good lead out for Ben O'Connor for the final climb. And Mass at the front, Christophe Julien has been there. The teammates of Ben O'Connor doing the work for the moment, but UAE also Ineos as well. They're on the right-hand side of the road. Ivo Oliveira moving across, trying to keep Almeida and Ayuso safe before the final climb.
Oh, big scratch at the right-hand side, Bobby.
Wow. Left and right-hand side. That's the entire Visma squad, it looked like.
The entire Visma squad. You've got that right on the right-hand side.
Sí, se cayó un jumbo, mano. Se cayeron varios jumbos.
Sí, cuando él dice así, oh,
Aquí se cayó uno. Ay, allá se cayeron todos los jumbos,
Touch the brakes at these kind of speeds and these kind of conditions, you're going down.
Ya me imaginó ayer ustedes esas resbaladas en el
right in this region, same kind of thing. We go to the corner, you touch
casi todos los amarillos
it's like
cayeron.
ice out there. This is disastrous for the Visma squad right now.
Un Bora cayó también.
This is the
Y mire, ahí anda, dígale que necesitamos una rueda de esa, tío.
Getting going again. You know, he's falling a long ways. When he came to a stop from his bicycle, had to run backwards.
Put his shoulder back in line, I believe.
Está bien, voy a caminar este perrito. Bien.
Can you imagine any of those sports where this is happening on the sidelines and you have to get back and there's no timeouts?
Heaven forbid you dislocate your shoulder. It's happened fairly frequently, sad to say. The agony that you're in at the moment. Still, it's hard to watch. I've been lucky enough not to dislocate or separate my shoulders, but I have seen it a number of times, and that's just not possible for actual reality. But just like that, Christian, pedaling near the front, keeping your leader in position, and then the whole team goes down at the blink of an eye. Fortune's changing in professional cycling so quickly. He's asking, you done? Are you done? Officially? Oh, that's Grisha right there. It's actually Grisha here. They take it to, yeah. This might be another crash here about. I think so, yeah. That's a spare bike again. No number plate. Deciding to abandon the ambulance and not abandon the race. Look, do you see him move his left-hand shoulder just there, or left-hand arm at least? So maybe they went into the, at least in the ambulance, to get a better grip on the shoulder. Look at him, out of the saddle as well. Wow, hats off. Coming into this roundabout, and that's like the fourth rider in line, and then the ricochet down the peloton. Left side also a rider coming down. Bob, I don't think he was even on the brakes. He literally pedaled, and his back wheel just went straight out right underneath him. Hard to fault anybody in that line of riders. You're doing your job near the front. And that's Pidcock as well right there. That's Pidcock right there getting up onto his bike as well. So I think it was one of his teammates that went down first, and Pidcock going down as well. So one of the favorites for today. Well, two of the favorites, with Jonas, of course, going down. Oh, it's treacherous. Not going to get any safer until the final slopes of the finishing climb, right, Christian? No, it really will not. Seems like they're a little bit more prudent about that roundabout at least, with 22 Ks to go. So the last 15 miles, everything turning upside down for a number of teams. There's a lot of, also the gentleman part of the sport. You know, today it could be somebody else, tomorrow it's going to be you. So you wait for everybody to come back, have a fair race. The leaders holding on to a minute-and-a-half advantage. The biggest headline in the Vuelta so far, this giant pileup involving some of the very top favorites of the race, including Jonas Vingegaard and his Visma teammates going down en masse. The finishing climb just awaiting us.
ManCloud chose the Capital One Sparkcast Plus card. Their business earns unlimited 2% cash back on everything they buy. They get big purchasing power so their business can spend more and earn more. What's in your mind?
Valvoline Restore and Protect. A first-of-its-kind innovation that returns pistons to factory clean by removing up to 100% of deposits. Restore your engine to perform like new. Restore and Protect. Another first from Valvoline.
It's game time with BetMGM's longest home run of the day bet. If your player hits the longest blast, you win. And track your bets live or combine them into a same-game parlay for an even bigger payout. New customers get a welcome offer up to $1,500 paid in bonus bets if you don't win. BetMGM, the sportsbook where we know how to treat you right.
At Corient, wealth management begins and ends with you. We believe the more personal the solution, the more powerful the result. We treat your goals as our own. We never lose focus on the life you want to build. And our experienced advisors design custom-built strategies to help you get there. It's time for a wealth management experience as sophisticated as you. It's time.
The moment I loved our Subaru Outback most was the moment they walked away from it. And that's why our family will only drive a Subaru.
Get 0.9% APR financing on new Outback models during the Subaru A Lot to Left sales event.
Get a large two-topping Crazy Crust pizza for $6.99 from Little Caesars. Look at that buttery flavored garlic spread sprinkled with Parmesan. Try Crazy Crust for $6.99 for a limited time.
Pizza, pizza.
But wait! I need to mention how there's over a dozen toppings to choose from.
Pizza, pizza.
But wait! I want to reiterate how legit this Crazy Crust is. It's good. Little Caesars is the real deal.
Pizza, pizza.
But wait! Gotcha! Still a chance here. It's Willingham. Into the box. Willingham shoots. Goal! That was magic. Willingham tucks it in. And it's the championship to Bears. Sweet dreams.
As long as soccer players celebrate with a slide, you can count on Geico. Car insurance made easy with 24/7 claim service.
Pressure. What pressure? The players.
Doesn't our chicken just taste better? Well, they are raised better. And it doesn't stop there. Recyclable trays just rolled it out. Sweet. Feed them antibiotics. Our chickens don't need them.
What about bedtime stories?
The last 12 miles of racing and the final climb. Not far away from the peloton. After that big crash that disrupted the pursuit of the breakaway, now the battle for position recommencing. UAE on the left-hand side of the road. And this is Jonas after his crash. Along with his teammates coming slowly back into the field. Thumbs up to see. But definitely some damage to the left elbow there for Jonas Vingegaard. Not an ideal way to approach the final climb of today's stage, Christian.
No, now he's at the back of the peloton, has to make his way through the peloton. You see how dangerous it still is. He goes back almost in towards the back with all the teammates trying to make their way towards the front. Of course, Jonas would be much safer towards the front, but that said, that crash happened right on the front.
Tail could have been well for his chances on today's stage, but right-hand side of the road. Case for all of the Ineos riders, including Egan there now, Magnus Sheffield, maybe the candidate for the win, Victor Langolosi on today's stage. Further down the riders, Dylan Van Barle is a teammate of Jonas Vingegaard, was involved in that crash. Well, certainly 12 miles of racing left, 20 Ks, final 10 Ks straight up to the finish line. Coming. Of course, a GC day, especially the rain is playing a big factor. And it hasn't rained here in this area for a while, and so the initial raindrops incredibly slick. We say that year in, year out, race in, race out, and the proof positive of how dangerous these roads are. We've just seen big pileup, and you can be forgiven if you're in the front. And riders just, once they start going down, Christian, in these conditions, they just can't avoid it.
Small crash on the left-hand side. Actually, there's more riders all the way down. 8 riders as well. I didn't even see that the first time on the left-hand side of the road as well. So exiting both sides, very slick. And one rider the brakes. I truly don't. I think he was actually pedaling just too hard, turning even just a few degrees to the left, going down the right, and of course he touched the brakes going down. Yeah.
17 Ks to go, 137, so the car did hesitate to ease up a little bit for Jonas Vingegaard to get back in contact. I don't think he's still where he wants to start the final climb, so he's got some work to do.
Yeah.
In the meanwhile, the teammates of Giulio Ciccone on the right-hand side of the road, Lidl Trek, doing the tempo at the front. We'll watch for Giulio Ciccone now with the crash to Jonas Vingegaard, maybe improving his chances for the stage win slightly at the end of today's stage.
Ciccone, one of the big favorites to not go down. Like you said, making inroads, of course, you're on the back of the peloton, but then now you have to make it through the peloton. You saw how stretched out it was, and to be honest, this has to be smart, don't panic, don't use too much energy early on. You got still 7 kilometers to the base, and even then, most of those rides aren't going to get dropped in the bottom. Slope is not that steep for the first couple kilometers.
The Topi area has some work to do to match what we see in the defense. For the North, maybe what we can make a little bit better efforts being made on behalf of the helicopter shots. UAE having a good lead out before the final climb, about 3-4 miles before the base. And the lead out will continue, I'm sure, with the stronger climbers from the GC contender team. Certainly.
See a grouping of yellow the way back on the right-hand side of the peloton. That most likely right there, tagged on behind the brakes. Big sound, but as long as it sounds like that, and the pavement, everyone years back to this point in time, after you see the crashes and everything, full gas right now, stay out of harm's way. Practice can't go any place in the peloton. The howling of the disc brakes, echoing through that carbon wheels. There's a little bit of moisture on the brake pads. Make it slightly more challenging. A flat to 36.5. It might not happen until tomorrow, Christian. Still some dangerous corners before everybody gets through the rest of the race course. Safely. UAE. The right-hand side of your screen, left-hand side of the road, feeding out their stars for today's final climb to the finish line. Minute 30 did the breakaway, and just 10 miles of racing to go, and all to play for in the final climb of today's stage. It was genuinely breathtaking.
The moment I loved our Subaru outback was the moment they walked away from it. And that's why our family will only drive a Subaru.
Subaru is rated number 1 in safety, higher than any other automaker. Love, it's what makes Subaru, Subaru.
Get 0.9% APR financing on new outback models during the Subaru Alaska sales event.
That's me. Complete yourself a port screen. Say no fees or minimums on your Capital One checking account. So, what do you think? Muy bien. Sleep tight. Don't let the overdraft fees bite. What's in your wallet? 2, please.
Make that 3 with the Capital One Saver Card. You get unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment. 3% cash back on salty, 3% cash back on sweet.
Good call.
Are you in this one?
Yeah, I'm in this one. Get your chances off my 3% cash back. Perfect delivery. What's in your wallet?
Everyone's talking about how to get more protein in their diet. Well, stop talking and head to Subway for tons of delicious protein-packed footlongs, like the Ultimate BMT, loaded with 54 grams of protein, or the All-Pro Sweet Onion Chicken Teriyaki, coming in at 58 grams of protein, all on irresistible fresh-baked bread. And at Subway Rewards members can get 40% off any footlong ordered in the app. Get all the protein you crave at a price you can't resist. Order now on the Subway app.
Breakaway holding on to just over a minute advantage, and the battle for position has been going on for a while, causing us some grief, especially to Pidcock and Jonas Vingegaard. This big pileup coming into one of the roundabouts just a couple of miles ago, having major consequences. Very near to the front and unbelievably slick conditions for the whole field. Looks like Jonas Vingegaard and his teammates in yellow. Almost the entire team falling down at the same corner, Christian.
Got at least 6 guys and quite a few from Q36.5 going down there with Tom Pitcock. Everyone around their leaders getting back, so they should all be okay. Don't know exactly the physical condition of Pitcock, but it looked like we got the thumbs up from Jonas Vingegaard at least. And a kiss to the camera's wife at home. Never the nicest thing to see your significant other going down in their bike race. But nice to make it for back home, but these guys are not waiting for anyone at this point in time. This is much harder than what we saw even for the scrum going for the sprint yesterday, Bob. Looks like UAE doing the best job so far with Almeida and Ayuso waiting in the wings, and their teammates on the left-hand side of the road. Then use that side of the road usually to do their work before the more critical parts of the bike race. Just a couple of more kilometers before the beginning of the final climb. For most of the field, that will be a relief. Get there safely, but for the GC contenders and the stage hunters, everything to play for. 59 seconds now inside of one minute. There is Victor Campenarts on the right-hand side of the road, right in front of Jonas Vingegaard. 3 leaders, now just 55 seconds. The peloton just about on their heel. The final climb all the way to the finish line and come back. 7 miles of racing to go.
Travel. It's gone from being an adventure to a checklist. But the world is still full of wonder. You just need a better way to find it. Introducing Airbnb experiences. Master ramen with an award-winning chef. Dive into underground jazz with a renowned bassist. Or see Notre Dame with her. She knows her story, by the way. Don't just see it, please. Experience it. Asthma rescue a dinosaur. Air Supra is the only asthma rescue inhaler FDA approved to treat symptoms and help prevent asthma attacks. Air Supra should not be used as a maintenance treatment for asthma. Get medical help right away if your breathing doesn't improve or worsens, or for serious allergic reactions like rash, labyrinthitis swelling, trouble breathing, or swallowing, or chest pain. Using Air Supra more than prescribed could be life-threatening. Serious side effects include increased risk of thrush or infections or heart problems like faster heart rate and higher blood pressure. Ask your doctor if Air Supra is right for you.
Even when U.S. women's national team forward Mallory Swanson isn't on the field, she always makes the perfect play. With a Bank of America customized cash rewards Visa card, she'll earn 6% cash back in the category of her choice, like online shopping for the first year from account opening. So wherever life takes you, get the card that rewards you for saving the day.
Making beach towels. Now, the guys at SandCloud chose a serious business card. The Smart Cash Plus card from Capital One. Their business earns unlimited 2% cash back on everything they buy. Like this fabulous bag. They get big purchasing power so their business can spend more and earn more.
Our 2% cash back helps us build their retail store.
You need a place to sell all these great looking towels. What's in your wallet?
What if your dream was to build the fastest car ever? But then when you got older, what if you realized the world needed something more adventurous? So what if you built something that could climb mountains and go swimming? What if it was all electric and super friendly and built for the future? I mean, what if they like it and even these guys like it? And oh yeah, I used to make it really fast. What if this whole wild adventure was already happening and this was just the start?
With Donkey Kong's powerful punches, you can smash through terrain and open up a vast world to explore. Donkey Kong win it.
Only 37 seconds advantage now for the breakaway, and the red jersey of race leader has already given up the ghost for today's stage. We expected that to happen, but a big battle for position now. Full cry for the peloton, cutting into the advantage of the breakaway.
There we go. Men's buelta.
Started the climb, 10 kilometers, 6.2 miles left to go. All uphill, 5.1% average gradient. It gets harder and harder as they go deeper into this climb. The last 2 kilometers are easily the hardest.
Wide road so far. That will change. Mikel Bjerg in the white helmet, white jersey with black sleeves for Ayuso and Almeida doing the tempo at the front. Also good riding by the Ineos team, but Victor Campenaerts, always going to see him as long as he's in the bike race, very near or at the front, doing the battle for position for his leader, Jonas Vingegaard.
Great to see the yellow jersey of Visma getting back towards the front after most of them crashed on that right-hand side of the roundabout. Campenaerts, like you just mentioned, Bob, I think he was down in here, not obviously hurt, and you don't usually get hurt so much when you go down on those slippery roads, just sliding out, maybe a little bit of abrasions because they were going pretty quickly. 36 seconds, not nothing.
4-minute breakaway throughout the race, and that is about to be over for the breakaway. Glivar, Otruba, and Slock done well to stay off the front this long, and they will be about to be caught by a pretty large peloton so far, in all honesty, Christian.
Yeah, big peloton. I think it's going to be a big peloton even till 1 kilometer to go. I think maybe 30, 40 riders at the very most. It depends how it's all taken out, of course. I mean, the way they're pushing right now, it's not easy. You already saw Gruppetto Foreman with the red jersey off the back. These guys are doing a fantastic job, like I said. I mean, 35 seconds, and they've been off the front really from the start of the race. 100 miles in distance this entire climb. First stage. I really think that if Visma really still has the legs, and if, more importantly, if Jonas has a confidence still after hitting the deck, that's going to be the difference to see how many riders are going to be left with 2K to go.
That is the question. He definitely has the teammates around him, but what sort of damage the crash did to everybody, including Jonas, could be a big difference in what happens on today's stage.
Yeah, physically and psychologically, of course. You know, there's a lot of corners coming up here, back and forth. Still slippery roads. Looks like it's a little bit dry. It's really hard to see on the TV, but I'm assuming that it's still wet roads.
Ivo Oliveira on the front for UAE. Attack from Slock in the breakaway. 30 seconds only now to the leaders. Otruba seemed to be the strongest on the previous climb. Let's see if he can't get back to the Belgian's wheel in the breakaway, but these attacks will come to nothing. Once the peloton catches them, they'll be going off the back probably pretty quickly, Christian.
Yeah, I would expect to see that as well. And no shame in that at all. In fact,
absolutely not.
I appreciate how hard they've actually raced, making it harder for the peloton. The race go by faster. A lot more attrition towards the back. You see the red jersey, like mentioned, going on the back. I think this is going to be pretty much it. Maybe even a little fight for the most aggressive rider at this point in time, Bob.
5 miles of climbing left. And the Bahrain squad, blue helmets, white jerseys. Looks like Ivo Oliveira, white helmet, white sleeves, and white jersey. And on the right-hand side of the road, another attack by Slock. One for, I think you're right, Christian, the most aggressive rider of the day. Likely candidate for that at this point, in my estimation.
Yeah, might as well. Just like the first attacks earlier on, might as well just keep on going. You're already done the damage to yourself. Now you're going to be recovering the last 5 miles going uphill.
A lone leader now, 20 seconds ahead of the charging peloton. So the lead out for the final few kilometers in full cry now from just about all the teams in this year's Vuelta.
Unos nuevos compré.
Jugaste. Bloquearon.
Como 10 a 0. Ganaron.
Think of the UAE team on the right-hand side of the road right now. Think of the ambitions of the general classification with both Almeida and Ayuso. 2 cars to play today. Wonder if there would be any kind of attacks that we see from either one of them within the last kilometer or two, Bob.
Amistoso, el otro equipo
Other teams on the back foot.
Pero ganaron.
Definitely a quick situation.
Semifinal.
That's Young Rider's jersey on his shoulders at the start of today's stage. The sprinter was second yesterday.
Igual la otra.
Closing in on
Pero
this.
creo que está clasificado para semifinal de Olimpia.
a ski station near the French
para
border.
la segunda
That didn't take long for the remnants of the breakaway. One last rider off the front. And in the yellow helmet, yellow jersey, Victor Campenard still doing the tempo, making life hard, especially on the Lido Trek squad. They fought to filter back a ways for Giulio Ciccone if he's going to have a chance. Would love to have some teammates in front of him at this point. 7Ks to go.
Don't stress too much, though. I don't mind Ciccone being a little bit far behind. Again, not the hardest of climbs. The last 2 Ks where you need to be towards the front. That max grading gets up to 10%. Again, Victor Campenard, so impressive. Doing the same things what we saw yesterday. Obviously, a little bit different terrain going uphill, but nonetheless, still so strong. Doing the work of 4 men.
Incredible riding by Victor Campenard's UAE, looking to have solid control of the left-hand side of the road. The riders now continue to be dropped. The attrition has begun in earnest for the final climb of today's stage. Still a fairly large group, though.
Oh yeah, massive groups to have 100 riders there, easily within the peloton.
Oliveira taking his turn, pulling off, passing the baton to his teammates on UAE of Almeida and Ayuso. Last man standing, Liam Slock from
12 segundos. Ya se había fugado como con 36 segundos de adelante y ya el pelotón lo trae.
We'll see a GC battle now. Generally, that doesn't go the way of most aggressive professional cycling, Christian. Krog Anderson, right-hand side of the road, doing the tempo now. Very powerful rider for Giulio Ciccone.
Pero volvieron a recuperar
now, making it clear that they would like the stage win to go the way of Giulio Ciccone, their Italian star.
Roads are looking dry, Bob. I think officially they are dry in this, but I haven't seen an umbrella for a while. You got to be a little bit more twists and turns as they start going up. It looks like Slock is
ya no, ya se dio por vencido.
Now, relax, look over his shoulder, realizing there's a massive sprint behind him. Still Campenard's on the front.
Ya no, ya se quedó ahí a la viejita.
Ben O'Connor in the purple jerseys with the gray shorts, doing a good lead out in the final 3.5 miles of racing. I would say the control is pretty equal between Ineos, Lido Trek, Visma, UAE filtering back a little bit. They want to try to get back to the front if they can do, but first off, Julian Jensen, the man in the purple jersey with the gray helmet, seems to be doing a great work for his team leader, Ben O'Connor, at the moment.
Bob Youngle's coming to the front on the left-hand side of the screen from Ineos, making sure the Langolote, Ghana off the back now. His job is done for the day. Same thing with Campenard.
Ese otro ya se quedó.
Campenard's and Ghana peeling off from the front of the group. Campenard's most certainly doing his work. Looks like it's Wilco Kelderman now, tasked with keeping Jonas Vingegaard's second wheel behind his teammate near the front for the rest of the stage.
Ese Vingegaard no tiene valor de tirarse con los sprinters porque esos sprinters parece que vuelven gaviotas como sacan los codos y se codellan en el papaleo que les agarra ya en los kilómetros finales.
Christoph Juhl Jensen did his work, and now he has just a few miles of racing to go to get to the finish line.
Porque ayer se quedó todo el grupo Visma, se quedó, dejó pasar el...
He's peeled off the back end.
No hicieron por ganar la etapa.
Teammates of Giulio Ciccone near the front. Great riding by Bob Youngle's Christian at the front with 3 miles to go. There is Ben O'Connor's second wheel behind a teammate. There looks like Jack Hindley on the radio quickly. Be surprised if this tempo making doesn't thin the herd down quite a bit before the big attacks, but that might not be till the last kilometer of the stage for the stage win.
No, I agree with that. I think the gradings are a little bit too shallow right now to truly make the difference. I mean, the riders on the front, as you see, they can only stay at the front this kind of wattage for a kilometer or two at the very most. Bob Youngle's already left the scene there. Now, Miko Kwiatkowski for Ineos.
Kwiatkowski doing the tempo. The green jersey from yesterday is still in the control of Jasper Philipsen. He'll be in that jersey at the end of the stage. And now the attrition is starting to be a little bit more emphatic, but still a very large group. And you're going to need your teammates for the rest of today's stage. That's most certain, Christian.
Yeah, when the speeds are this high, obviously
drafting is much more pertinent to be on the wheels at these kind of speeds. If we're talking an average speed for the last 4.5 kilometers, even with the grades get up to 10%.
Se me pinchó la bicicleta allá por donde fuimos a hacer los parches, los ceilings. Hasta allá me recogí el cuarto.
The Monask rider from Ineos,
Fue por el raspón, digo que le amaneció volviendo, no fue.
UAE moving into position, but they've lost a couple of riders, so Juan Ayuso and Joao Almeida will have to pick their moment. 10, 6, and 4 time bonuses up for grabs at the finish line. They're the stage winner, second and third, so could be a big part of the Vuelta, as it always is, Christian, and most certainly will tell the difference in who's the next leader of this race. The race leader, Philipsen, understandably dropped the sprinter from yesterday, no longer a factor.
Just shows the gearing, how the speeds, not so far down, big chain ring, pushing hard now with Visma. This is the first time we've actually seen the front of the peloton actually strung out a little bit here, Bob.
Brandon Rivera from Ineos moving into position. These are our pre-race favorites, all 10 seconds behind at the start of the day. That's going to change dramatically. Haley's there, Vingegaard, Jorgensen, Ciccone, Ayuso, Sepp Kuss, Ben O'Connor, we've seen Almeida, Landa Bernal, and Gall, all still in this front group. That time difference might change dramatically, though, in the last 3 Ks of racing.
No, ahora quizás sí lo vamos a ir, quieren ganar alguna etapa.
This is where it starts to get steeper and steeper and steeper. 10% comes with more or less 1 kilometer to go on the dot here. Visma put their intentions on the line. This is what I expected earlier. I expected that Visma was really going to try to make it as hard as possible and give Jonas the best opportunity. First of all, to stay out of trouble, and second of all, go for the stage.
Well, that is some serious tempo making by Wilco Kelderman. Haven't seen Matteo Jorgensen yet. He's a few riders behind. 2 teammates also. I think that's Ben Tullett, the rider just behind Jonas Vingegaard in the yellow jersey and red helmet.
Saw Sepp Kuss popping around just about 10 riders back as well. You're right, not seeing Matteo again. Matteo's another one of those guys who went down as well in that corner, so maybe not exactly fresh this point down. But now I can see the tall build of Matteo Jorgensen, about 8 or 9 riders back right next to Sepp Kuss.
Ciccone filtering down a little bit further, but he has a teammate just in front of him. Looks like Julian Bernard. Yes, a bearded rider from Lidl Trek, but Ciccone right on his wheel. Now these are the riders struggling to stay in the field. And if you're not a climber, just get to the finish line. You only have a couple of miles of climbing left, but not easy no matter what part of the road you're on. There's the king of the mountain trying to stay in the group, but Ben now was about to get dropped in the polka dots.
That was Megan Sheffield filtering back from Ineos as well. He had an untimely flat tire as well right after that crash that we saw. So Magnus had to scurry back into the peloton, maybe a little bit too much pressure on the pedals, just make his way back into the peloton before this climb.
And in pink, hoping for something big from Markel Beloki. A good chance for the young Spaniard to show what he's got for the finish. Asking his teammates to come through. Do hard work like that. It's over. It's time to encourage your teammates. Ben Tullett looking like the man from Visma doing the tempo with Jonas Vingegaard still sitting on the wheel. Right on his shoulder is Giulio Ciccone.
Look at Bernard right there. Looks like a little bit of acceleration coming into the switchback on the left-hand side. Taking the reins from Visma right now. Now it's all Trek right now on the right-hand side of the road. Ciccone, second wheel.
Watch for Ciccone to put in perhaps a first acceleration amongst the stage-winning favorites. Ben O'Connor moving up in the purple jersey, but Ben Tullett still in control with Jonas Vingegaard looking strong right near the front.
I don't know how many attacks we're actually going to see here, Bob, to be honest. A lot of times of this kind of graded, these kind of speeds, you really want to just stay on the wheel as long as possible. You only have 1 bullet, and if you do use that bullet a little bit too early, you're not going to have anything left for the sprint.
Qué raro que desde que vaya al frente con el bigote o el que chatillo. Que le es rara la cara, sí.
These are where the gradients start to kick up. Exactly. It starts getting a lot steep. You can see in the gradients going through these switchbacks left and right. Twists and turns as they make their way up this climb.
The Tifosi, the Italian fans of professional cycling, waiting for something huge from Giulio Ciccone's second wheel.
Looking to do on the steeper slope, some attacking to go for the stage win. Got a good chance to do it. He's in perfect position. I think I just saw Tom Pitcock there as well. White sleeves on the blue jersey.
Yeah, great eye there, Bob. Fourth wheel. Tom Pitcock on the right-hand side of your screen. Down the left-hand shoulder of those trek riders. Is great perspective of how steep it has gotten. Completely different from the bottom slopes.
Back of the peloton will not be a factor, but these are the riders that will contest the stage win. Mark Soler there also for UAE in the white jersey and black sleeves.
No, es que anda un pozo pegado aquí como un té.
Julian Bernard at the
Por
front
eso le
leading the
debe
charge for Giulio Ciccone. And now Ciccone's other
Veo
teammates
ustedes que tienen como un mentor.
all in for Giulio Ciccone, the Italian star of the Lido Trek squad.
Only 1,400 meters left to go. Steepest point coming up.
1 kilómetro,
Again,
4.
as long as the teammates of these respective riders are as strong as they have been, there's no reason to truly attack this point in time. If there's a slow in the tempo, that's most likely when you're going to see the attack.
They have Bajoli doing the tempo for his teammate Giulio Ciccone. Jonas Vingegaard is there, but Ciccone has an incredible sprint on a stage like this that it kicks uphill to the finish line. Ayuso about fifth wheel, looking strong at the moment also.
A lot of firepower left. No one really showing exactly what they have underneath the hood right now. Just waiting as long as you possibly can. And like I said, if this kind of tempo being set, there's not much place you're going to go anyways.
Egan Bernal riding well. He's got the Colombian National Road Racing Champions jersey for Ineos. About sixth wheel, right behind Jonas Vingegaard. So good to see Egan Bernal still in contention. Tom Pitcock moving slightly backwards in the peloton, but now trying to move forward. And there's Valentin Paré-Pantra from the T-Rex Soudal squad, winner of Mont Ventoux, looking very dangerous at the moment. 1K to go.
1K to go. No accelerations to be had yet. Big scrum there. Saw broad shows of Ayuso coming there. Almeida right at the Tom Pitcock's wheel. All these guys, most of them, Pitcock especially, has a great kick to the line.
Pitcock picking himself off the ground for the start of the final climb and looking very dangerous at the moment. He is a rider that can attack the distance or wait till the very end and use his kick to win the stage. The next leader's jersey also up for grabs from the stage winner. Red Bull Bora in control at the front of the field, and let's see how that translates at the finish line. Jai Hindley is their GC rider, but also Giovanni Aliotti, an Italian left squad, a good climber as well. Looks like Giulio Ciccone now moving into second position, not taking any chances, staying very close to the front, waiting to unleash his sprint for the line.
En 500 metros van a atacar.
Jonas looking ominous right there. Ciccone's second wheel. All the favorites towards the front right now. 600 meters to go. These guys are absolutely pinned right now. Look at Jonas, more or less with his mouth closed, Bob. He looks completely in control. Here we go.
Mark Soler, the first rider to attack before the finish line from the UAE squad, trying to set something up. Let's see if the others don't chase. Mark Soler, a very strong climber, and it looks like Sepp Kuss trying to do damage control for Jonas Vingegaard from the Visma squad.
Absolutely right there, Sepp Kuss. Always there when it needs to be. Red helmet, white stripes there. There he goes. There goes Jonas on the right-hand side.
Jonas Vingegaard getting onto the wheel of his teammate in the red helmet, yellow jersey. Tom Pitcock there as well. Juan Ayuso looking strong. Now it's getting steeper in the last couple of hundred meters before the finish line. There goes Tom Pitcock with his attack. Let's see if they can manage that one. Also, it looks like Felix Gall from the Groupama squad. Jonas against Ciccone coming out of the mist. Giulio Ciccone in the red helmet, trying to get the better of all of his rivals for the GC.
Ese va a ganar el del líder Trek.
Jonas Vingegaard trying to come around on his wheel. Giulio Ciccone.
No, se lo va a chingar el amarillo.
This will be a glorious win for the Italian at the top of Limone.
Sí, va.
Oh my goodness.
Vingegaard ganó.
Vingegaard at the last moment getting the better of Ciccone.
I have to agree with it. Many times when you come across line, you know if you won or if you lost. You always look for the rider with most elation. I'm going with Jonas on that one. What a finish that was. All timing, Bob.
Falling down in the finale, gathering himself, sprinting to the line, kissing the ring. There's your stage winner and next leader of the Vuelta.
Para igual al parce. El que ha ganado es Jonas Vingegaard. Y ese fue el de los que se cayó.
And I go to set.
Hey boys, you want to go? Sorry.
I have the tiger right there, Bob, is what I saw. Has a lot of motion as well. It had to feel good after a rough Tour de France, and that wasn't bad. I mean, to get second place to Tadej Pogačar, but to come here and hit the deck hard with all the boys and then come back, Sepp Kuss did a fantastic job making sure that nobody was getting off the front, going head-to-head with Giulio Ciccone. It was all about timing, wasn't it? Ciccone opened up that sprint from a long way out. He paid the price.
Well, Giulio Ciccone, maybe a little bit more ambitious than he should have been. Could have waited a couple of pedal strokes and gotten the stage win. But a very impressive ride from a great champion, Jonas Vingegaard. That look back, maybe the difference between winning and losing, Christian, for Giulio Ciccone.
Yeah, you ease up at any point in time. You have to just keep head down, look forward. It's one of the first things you learn as a junior cyclist. But you know, one of the times when the monkey starts jumping on your back, especially that deep into the climb, when you got nothing left, you start looking around to see how hard I need to go. Turns out a little bit harder.
Well, Ciccone
much more
looked over his shoulder and could have seen just about anybody else besides.
Si es que fue por un
That
pelito.
is as close as it gets on a mountain stage, Christian. That is stunning win by Jonas Vingegaard.
David
Ayuso coming
third
across.
place, Bob.
I just saw that. I just almost cannot believe my eyes. Egan Bernal up there as well. Hats off to Jonas Vingegaard. Could have just sat on the wheels after crashing before the last climb, but not today for Jonas Vingegaard.
Sí, se ve flaco.
Abrasions.
¿No? 150, mucho. O es grande. No es tan grande. Como Junior, tal vez. No. No, es como el Parce, tal vez, de alto.
Great teamwork by Sepp Kuss in the last few hundred meters. Although, for the FISMA leader, Jonas Vingegaard, that's got to be absolutely perfect for the morale. Confirmation. David Gaudu third. Oh my goodness. Almeida, Gall, Kinley, Ayuso, Jorgensen up there also, and Tom Pidcock. And maybe a little bit more damage from that crash than we saw, Christian, translating to top 10, but not the stage what he was hoping for. Classification with time bonus, Vingegaard goes into lead. Might give it up in the few days to come, but might be there in Spain. So a huge step forward. Great for the morale for Jonas Vingegaard. In a minute since he won a actual bike race, even though he was second in the Tour de France. Straight on the phone, kissed the ring immediately going across the line. So good indication that he knew he had won. And just reassuring everybody that he's okay and is the stage winner and the new leader of this year's Vuelta. Stage number 2, going early for Jonas Vingegaard to the win column, Christian.
Asked if he would like to take the red jersey at the end of the stage. A little bit coy about that in the pre-race interview. Whether you like it or not, you have that on your back going forward in stage number 3. Look how close this was. Oh, that's got to hurt so bad for Ciccone, Bob.
Almeida, Gall, Hindley, Ayuso, Matteo Jorgensen. Not horrible. There's Ben O'Connor coming across. The Ineos rider, Langalotti, not quite as quick as the more established mountain stars. Nobody more established than Jonas Vingegaard. And Giulia Ciccone had such a great chance to win the stage and go into the lead, but Jonas, obviously, Christian, fired up about the Vuelta and not waiting in the wings for a better opportunity, perhaps, to lead, going for the leader's jersey in the stage win already on day number 2.
Yeah, that's a great point, Bob. When you go that deep, especially after the crash, he's obviously has intentions of going all in for every one of these stages. It's always nice to have a lead early in the stage race. Obviously, it's only a couple seconds from time bonuses. There's a time gap of 2 seconds going back to João Almeida from 4th to 5th place, and after that, the first other time gap was all the way down to 25th in Marco Frigo. Riccatello did a fantastic job there in 17th place as well. Same time, Sepp Kuss. 4 of the riders from the United States, and Kevin Vermaak doing a good ride as well.
Giulia Ciccone, this is only 50 meters to go. Still a bike length ahead of Jonas Vingegaard. Jonas has been sprinting against Tadej Pogačar for the stages in the Tour de France, so maybe that give him a little bit of advantage over Ciccone in today's sprint.
Especially coming off the back of the France.
The red jersey later on in the Vuelta. Was it too tempting to win a stage?
Yeah, to be honest, I mean, you're not gonna let the stage win pass, so yeah, when I saw the opportunity, of course, I'll take it also, and super happy to take the victory today. Yeah, it's been a while since my last victory, obviously, but super happy with how I felt and how the team did today. So yeah, super happy with also having the red jersey.
About your last move, how did you react when Ciccone accelerated?
Yeah, I just went in his wheel, and to be honest, before the corner, I didn't think that it would be possible to pass him. But then from the corner on, it was a bit longer to the finish than I thought. So yeah, then I could luckily just pass him.
Had a crash earlier on. Any consequences?
I don't think so. I went down pretty hard, but seems like I didn't hurt myself too bad. I have a bit of bruises, but I think because it was so slippery, I was sliding more, so I didn't really get any bad road rash or anything.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Jonas Vingegaard reminding us that it's been a while, but what sweet revenge after crashing to get the stage win. He did give us a thumbs up just after that when he got back into the peloton. And so Jonas Vingegaard showing his real class as a bike racer, crashing with his entire team nearly. No severe consequences, and picking himself up, grabbing his bike, and sprinting to the line against Giulia Ciccone, the Italian star. It was looking like a slam dunk by Ciccone, but then Jonas Vingegaard having other ideas. Tremendous stage win from the preemptive favorite of this year's Vuelta and the next leader of this year's Vuelta a España. That is Jonas Vingegaard, and all of the podiums in a moment. Giulia Ciccone will have to be looking for other stages later.
Same old phone? Nah, this is my mic check. And mix all in. Go here. Boiled peanuts. No, shit. Almost so there. They brag about intelligence, but no way they can predict my next move. Can your phone do that?
Does he do this every play?
Ever since the biscuits got bigger.
Here comes the big ending.
Bigger biscuits, crescents, and cinnamon rolls. Woohoo!
It's game time with BetMGM's longest home run of the day bet. If your player hits the longest blast, you win. And track your bets live or combine them into a same-game parlay for an even bigger payout. New customers get a welcome offer up to $1,500 paid in bonus bets if you don't win. BetMGM, the sportsbook where we know how to treat you right.
A large touchscreen keeps everyone happy. The all-new Subaru Crosstrek. Dog tested, dog approved. Get 1.9% APR for 63 months on select Subaru Crosstrek models during the Subaru A Lot to Love event. Is your asthma rescue a dinosaur? Air Supra is the only asthma rescue inhaler FDA approved to treat symptoms and help prevent asthma attacks. Air Supra should not be used as a maintenance treatment for asthma. Get medical help right away if your breathing doesn't improve or worsens, or for serious allergic reactions like rash, mouth or tongue swelling, trouble breathing or swallowing, or chest pain. Using Air Supra more than prescribed could be life-threatening. Serious side effects include increased risk of thrush or infections or heart problems like faster heart rate and higher blood pressure. Ask your doctor if Air Supra is right for you.
Whoa, it's the Capital One Bank guy. That's me. Could we get a selfie? Of course. Say no fees or minimums on your Capital One checking account. Ooh, that's cool.
So, what do you do outside of the Capital One Cafe?
What do you mean?
Like when you go home or...
Tight, don't let the overdraft fees bite. What's in your wallet?
Hello, hello, hello.
Get same-day delivery and text a personal shopper for last-minute additions. Just have Target.
At Domino's, we don't think paying around $6.99 for a burger adds up. Because you can pick 2 medium, 2-topping pizzas for only $6.99 each. And that adds up to a whole lot more. Pick 2 medium, 2-topping pizzas for just $6.99 each, only at Domino's.
A lot of danger. There you go. Nice to be 100% sure that you won, Christian, when nobody else was sure. These are the new overall standings. Julio Ciccone just a micron behind Jonas Vingegaard. Not surprised that he's in the leader's jersey, but I thought that might happen a little bit later in the Vuelta, but already on stage number 2. It's a pretty miraculous ride by David Gaudu. Started the final climb last man, was able to pass almost the entire peloton and get 3rd. Almeida 12th, Lecerf, Paripantras, Sepkus after a great lead out for the winner. Vingegaard was 14th, Ben O'Connor on the wheel of the American, and further down to 29th, so Antonio Tiberi a little bit further behind, 31 seconds down. That includes the 10-second time bonus to this rider, Jonas Vingegaard. Once again, this is within 50 meters to go. You can see that banner. And I thought Ciccone all the way to the line with 100 meters to go, but then out of the mist, coming the man in the yellow jersey with a red helmet, Jonas Vingegaard. Wow, what a sprint. That we don't often see from Vingegaard to be that quick at the end of a stage like today, but it's no surprise when you consider his class and how well he climbs. It has some power, and I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Christian, they've been working on that a little bit because of how proficient Tadej Pogačar is in this type of situation also.
Exactly. You have to be able to match the accelerations, and these guys all can climb. Everyone can climb over 6 watts per kilo these days, which is crazy. And then, of course, if you have to accelerate 9, 10, 12 watts per kilogram for a couple hundred meters, you have to be able to match the ferocity which Tadej can attack. So, yeah, Jonas has had to turn his attention to those kind of tactics and, of course, aggression on the climbs. And to be able to do the wattage required to even be in the peloton and then be able to accelerate in the last 500 meters, that's impressive. And I don't think we're at his full potential in this Vuelta. Not even close right now, Bob. I don't think he had the big. Yeah, exactly. So if you think of what he can do if he continues to build form and build that momentum going forward, just like he did when he got second place at SEP a few years ago, it's going to be a scary man to go against deep into this Vuelta. I'm thinking of Angro Lou, for example, in Asturias, all the way down to stage number 20 outside of Madrid.
Interesting stage tomorrow. One categorized climb. It's a Cat 2, about halfway through the stage. And then an intriguing low percentage but uphill drag to the finish line tomorrow, Christian, in Ceres.
Yeah, it's going to be a short stage. Like I said, I think it's going to be quite aggressive. I think there's going to be much more hard fought to get into the breakaway, which we'll almost expect to see today. And then, like you said, to the finish line, 2.5 kilometers at 3.2% average gradient. It's hard to call. I mean, you could think of Ciccone trying to get some revenge back, trying to get that red jersey. You could also think of Mads Pedersen, his teammate, getting through this. 6,600 feet of climbing in a shorter stage than today, so more climbing than we've seen yet in Vuelta. 8:10, get a little sleep in, Bob. Nice.
8:10 a.m. Eastern for the start of tomorrow's stage number 3. Should not be a GC day, but if it's raining, about anything can happen. And these are the riders that finish at the same time: Bernal, Gaudu, Ciccone, and Vingegaard. Vingegaard getting the stage win. Almeida a couple seconds behind in front of Gall, Jai Hindley, Juan Ayuso, Matteo Jorgensen. All of the riders, by the way, we thought would factor in into the overall at the end of the Vuelta a España. So everybody taking today very seriously. Lopez 7th, Sepp Kuss, teammates with Vingegaard on 12th. Ben O'Connor, 2 seconds behind. And Pellizzati also there for the Red Bull squad. Mikel Landa just at the same time, 2 seconds. But then it starts to go down to Tiberi, 21 seconds behind on the stage. So that is the sprint on a mountaintop finish, about as close as it gets. And so I think Jonas being on the receiving end from Tadej Pogacar in recent years, Christian, and getting a little bit more proficient at sprinting to the line when he needs to. So gets a 4-second advantage over Giulio Ciccone also because of the time bonus.
And that was all about timing, though, as well. You think about how hard you had to go, like I said, to just be there for the last 500 meters, and then how far from the line Ciccone really opened up his sprint. Be able to sit on that wheel and time your sprint to the line. I also agree with you what you said about looking behind as well. Just that little lax of that pedal stroke, half a pedal stroke, that could have been everything. Losing that little bit of momentum so close to the line, that could have been a game, set, match for Ciccone going to the line. That hurts so bad for an Italian rider on home soil.
Leonard von Eynfeld on the receiving end of that last year, if I remember correctly, from Primoz Roglic. Just a hesitation, and looked most certainly to be the winner, but Primoz Roglic having the final say. I think at this point, Ciccone could have been forgiven for thinking that I've got the win in the hand. And then when you look over your shoulder and you see Jonas Vingegaard charging, heartbreak for Giulio Ciccone, but an absolute thrill for Jonas Vingegaard.
Oh, that was even closer to the line than I realized, Bob, when he looked over his shoulder. About 25 meters at the very most when he looks over his shoulder, and it's hard to really keep all the pressure on the pedal, so even that slight hesitation could have been the difference between winning and losing. There's Seth coming across the line. Matthew Riccatello right there as well. Fantastic ride for Matthew, but this is definitely not his wheelhouse at all.
He needs a much longer, steeper climb to be at his best, and that is definitely upcoming in the Vuelta. But for Ciccone, maybe you wouldn't do that unless you were absolutely exhausted just before the finish line, generally speaking, Christian, right?
Truth. I mean, when, like I said earlier, when the monkey's on your back and your legs are completely locking up, you're just trying to look around, how much farther do I have to the line? You start to panic a little bit, look over your shoulder, do I have it, do I not? I mean, there's really nothing you can do at that point in time. And that's why I look over your shoulder, but it's easier said than done, isn't it?
Yeah, that's definitely a real temptation. Just to reassure yourself, and then, when the reassurance isn't there, no, it's right. Well, plenty of chances for Ciccone, and maybe Mads Pedersen, his teammate, tomorrow. But for an Italian, on Italian roads, Jonas Vingegaard, though. He's definitely bringing ambition to this Vuelta a España. When you consider not far from the finish line, this big crash to he and all of his teammates. And his teammate, yes, by the way, yeah, another of the stage favorites, Tom Pidcock, going down in that crash as well, but the rider still on the ground and getting up slowly. Number 12, Axel Zingel, I thought, no way he's finishing this race, trying to put my assessment generally, his shoulder back into place after perhaps dislocating it or separating that. Christian Nierman is director sportif, pushing him back into the race after spending time in the ambulance. Once you go in the ambulance, Christian, you almost never get back in the bike race.
Look at the commissary asked him at least 3 or 4 times. That's it, right? That's it. You're stopping the race? Is it official? Yes, no, yes, no. And jumping back on the bike, hats off for Ziegler, getting back in the race, wants to be a part of this. And especially when you're a part of something so much bigger than yourself. You realize that my teammate Jonas has every chance to win this race overall, and I want to be a part of it. There's no way I want this to stop me from being a part of this.
And after going through all the agony to get back going again and get to the finish line, to see that your teammate has won the stage, Christian,
well said.
That is incentive enough to keep going. And so congratulations to Jonas Vingegaard, but hats off to his teammate, Axel Zingel. So he'll be in the race where they're drinking champagne in the hotel after the stage today, and that is massive for anybody in professional cycling.
There's going to be a sore little puppy tomorrow morning, but I'm sure he'll get through it. And that replay of that roundabout, I don't know if you saw on the left-hand side, there's riders crashing left and right.
Did see that, yeah.
Yeah, and saw some EF riders as well. That's the business. I mean, unfortunately, you see DMR10 go home from a crash early on the small descent that we saw. Seemingly, everyone got up, and like we heard from Jonas Vingegaard, that wasn't that bad. Most of the just abrasion, not that much road rash at all, just pretty much on a slip and slide at that point in time on that tarmac. So slick. Of course, you're gonna have some bruises from hitting the deck.
Well, an impressive ride also by Egan Bernal. No trouble with the tempo to stay in the front for Bernal, and if that continues to be the case for Egan Bernal, it would be really pretty amazing, miraculous even, if he's competitive throughout the Vuelta a España with the best. Yeah, Landa losing a little time along with Felix Gall, but you got to go down to Rodriguez, Trajan, and even Mateo Sobrero at 35 seconds, and that's including the time bonus, so not much time all the way across the top 50 racers or so, everybody within about 39-40 seconds of the stage winner, Jonas Vingegaard, in spite of a tough climb to the finish line. And imagine there could have been bigger time gaps, but it shows you how the depth of the professional peloton. Jonas Vingegaard by a whisker, getting the stage win in front of Ciccone, Gaudu, and the Colombian star back at his best, Egan Bernal. Sepp Kuss, Matteo Jorgensen in good order to the finish line with Ben O'Connor. And the other pre-race GC favorites and some of their teammates. But stage 2, mountains always provide thrills in professional bike racing. Today, no different. Congratulations to Jonas Vingegaard and his teammate, by the way, Axel Zingler, for finishing. Giulio Ciccone maybe rue this last look over his shoulder. Thank you, everybody from CNBC, for joining us today. 8:10 tomorrow morning for Peacock, but stay tuned on Peacock. Switch over for the rest of the podiums and the stage coverage. Thanks, everybody, on CNBC. My math is right. Jasper Philipsen will still be leading the points competition. Might be a minute, Christian, before he gets to the finish line. Should be there already. And did drop off about 20 Ks to go. one more time. I'm sure that Giulio Ciccone would prefer that we never show this ever again, but for Jonas Vingegaard, he'd be loving to see this for the foreseeable future.
I think the standouts that you brought this up at Egan Bernalbaum. That's a surprising result. Fourth place, I know it doesn't sound so crazy for a rider, just like I mentioned with Matthew Riccatello, not necessarily in his wheelhouse, those explosive capabilities there in the last 500 meters. Jack Hindley had a great ride. Matteo Jorgensen, of course, I think they're keeping him maybe in reserve for plan B. Matthew Riccatello. And going all the way back down, Mikel Landa, maybe my big surprise that he's been able to come back. Hasn't really had the best of form coming into this race. It's good to see him fighting.
Landa, a devastating crash on day one of the Giro d'Italia. And Soudal continuing to evolve without Remco Evenepoel. Mikel Landa has been so strong for his teammates throughout the years. It'll be interesting to see how well he races for himself in this Vuelta a España today. Very good. Into the green room for Jonas Vingegaard. King of the Mountains. Jersey awaiting Vingegaard as well. Stage winner by the blink of an eye between himself and the Italian star, Giulio Ciccone, Jonas Vingegaard. But this has got to be absolutely massive for the morale, Christian.
Massive for the team, for himself, mostly for himself though, I believe. And his look after he said 100% conviction that he won that stage, I'd love to see it. Red socks as well, with some special socks going on.
That didn't take long.
No, I was already thinking that I'm taking this red jersey. Maybe that was the plan.
Don't remember he was racing in those, Christian, so he must have had a quick change to his socks. So he's won 2 stages previously in the Vuelta a España. Didn't wait long in this year's edition to get a win. His last win was in a team time trial. That was in Paris-Nice, so got to go all the way back to the Tour of Algarve for an individual win in this year. So way back in February, winning the overall and the final time trial in that. And so it's been almost an entire season for Jonas Vingegaard between sips of champagne. A long, lonely ride through the Tour de France, especially after winning twice in a row, Christian, to now be clearly not quite as good as Tadej Pogačar. No stage wins in the Giro yet for Jonas Vingegaard, but this is his 7th Grand Tour stage win, 4 in the Tour, and his 3rd in the Vuelta. And because of the time bonus, also the race leader. To imagine the pressure on Jonas Vingegaard, Christian, throughout the last couple of seasons that have been blighted by crashes, to deliver a big stage win and a leader's jersey must be quite massive for Jonas Vingegaard.
Absolutely.
Danish fans can't be less than engaging with their stars when they're not successful, to put it mildly, but I think the team expects so much from their riders. And Jonas Vingegaard has delivered in the past, but it has been a while, the last couple of seasons, going the way of other riders, especially Tadej Pogačar. And so this is huge for Jonas Vingegaard and the Visma squad.
Anyone who thinks that this guy is not hard, yeah. His middle name is grit. I mean, the things that we've seen him do in the last 2 years, especially like you mentioned during the show, coming back from that horrific crash in the Tour of Basque Country, how he was able to battle back to get 2nd place, to be in the race at all. Actually, before it happened, I thought that was a bad decision on behalf of this squad, but to get 2nd place to Tadej, I mean, to see how broken he was about at the last week of the Tour de France last year, and falling to pieces in his wife's arms at the top of the mountain. It was emotional to see, and the backside of this is getting some success here. I think it's so good for, like you mentioned, I think he has a lot of pressure. I think he puts a lot of pressure on himself, but to get that momentum back, getting back into winning mentality that you can do this, that you still are one of the best in the world, no doubt about it. I mean, if Teddy was here, we'd be talking about him and being the best stage racer of his generation, no doubt.
Absolutely. And then you go, the King of the Mountains jersey coming his way. 5 points up for grabs at the finish line. And the previous leader, Vere from Italy, not a factor. Even though he gave it his best shot, it seemed like, Christian. And he'll still be in that jersey, if I'm not mistaken. Could be Giulio Ciccone in the polka dots. We'll have to go to the tiebreaker for who's actually wearing it. But the leader will certainly be Jonas Vingegaard. Another category 2 on the race course, and that's before the sprint point. So for the green jersey, it'll be interesting to see if Mads Pedersen doesn't go for the green jersey points on the sprint, assuming that Jasper Philipsen is not there, which after a Cat 2 climb would be a pretty reasonable assumption to make.
Very reasonable. That's going to be a tricky stage. Looking forward to seeing exactly what's going to happen with that. How aggressive they're going to be at the start, and I think Vanch is very aggressive. Very.
Day for the breakaway, perhaps not out of the question, even though it's early. And the Vuelta now, stage 3. We haven't had a breakaway succeed yet. Maybe tomorrow will be the day. Points classification. Ethan Vernon getting 10 points, last of the point gatherers in the intermediate sprint. Behind the breakaway for 10 points. Vingegaard moves into the frame at 30 points. And Jasper Philipsen with 50. Does have a big lead over Mads Pedersen, though, that's for sure.
Massive. Massive lead. There we go.
Best young rider?
Yeah, I think so.
Won that previously in his first Vuelta. He was, Christian, 19 years old. Now, you were racing bikes at 19 and already very proficient. I had never even heard of that sport when I was 19 years old. So. There have been some ups and downs since then, though, for Ayuso, to be in all honesty, Christian.
Yeah, I think, well, we were all bleeding the hype. When you see a 19-year-old getting on the podium overall in the Vuelta, you think the sky's, I mean, it still is. I mean, still young. Obviously, he's in the white jersey right now, so you have to give him some time, work things out. It's a tricky situation to be a part of this UAE team as well. You have Teddy, you have himself, Almeida, now Del Toro as well. Not easy.
Most aggressive rider, as we suspected, Christian, from the breakaway, Liam Slock. They had Kaye, yesterday's most aggressive rider, so changing that leadership for the moment. Yet tomorrow's race course, very interesting. Breakaway not out of the question. Sprint point, 6 seconds up for grabs, and then category 4 to the finishing climb. Not far outside of the wheelhouse of a certain Mads Pedersen tomorrow, Christian.
No, I don't think so. It's going to be interesting to see how hard they go up and over that category 2 climb. If they're breakaway right from the jump, but only 135 kilometers, I'm expecting a very aggressive race.
The rain having its say on today's stage, but that man waving to the cameras early, the ultimate decider of today's stage, Jonas Vingegaard. A very tight sprint against Giulio Ciccone, but believing all the way into the line. And Jonas Vingegaard making what we thought would be obvious, that he's the favorite. 8:10 a.m. is the start of tomorrow's stage. Please join us there. For Christian Vandeveld, I'm Bob Roll. Thanks everybody for joining us on stage number 2. We'll see you tomorrow.
A large touchscreen keeps everyone happy. The Subaru Crosstrek. Dog tested, dog approved. Get 1.9% APR for 63 months on select Subaru Crosstrek models during the Subaru A Lot to Love event.
This is where it happened. People still come up to me and talk about it. When you're in it, you're not thinking of the stories they'll tell. Just get yourself in the right position. You never know when a play will become legendary. When the moment comes, will you be ready?
Make it a season you'll never forget when you bet on baseball. BetMGM Sportsbook. Make it legendary.
Living with your albuterol asthma rescue inhaler? It's a bit of a dinosaur, because albuterol only treats symptoms, not inflammation. Asthma experts support rescue that treats both symptoms and inflammation. It's time to replace your rescue with Air Supra. Air Supra is the first and only dual-action asthma rescue inhaler FDA approved to treat symptoms and help prevent asthma attacks. Welcome to the modern age of dual-action asthma rescue. Air Supra should not be used as a maintenance treatment for asthma. Get medical help right away if your breathing doesn't improve or worsens, or for serious allergic reactions like rash, mouth or tongue swelling, trouble breathing or swallowing, or chest pain. Using Air Supra more than prescribed could be life-threatening. Serious side effects include increased risk of thrush or infections, or heart problems like faster heart rate and higher blood pressure. Can't afford your medication? AstraZeneca may be able to help. Ask your doctor about Air Supra, a dual-action rescue inhaler for asthma.
I feel like there's a lot of depth. And like Brock Bowers is going to be awesome. Brock Bowers isn't going to fail. There's also got like new quarterback, new offensive coordinator, like Ashton Genty's in the office now. Like it's going to look different than it did last year. So
there's more variance than you would expect with a number one player at his position, the way Bowers was, for sure.
Getting back to another question here, guys. McGunnell said, what is Matthew Berry's exposure to Jaden Daniels?
Not as much as you would think. I wish. But I have found, I have some shares of him, but to be honest with you, I always find, especially because, this is going to sound so whatever, but the truth is that every league that I'm in, people are aware that I'm in that league, right? I don't go into leagues like under an assumed name. So they know who I am, and they know that I'm a huge homer. So there's always somebody that reaches for him just to kind of like F you, Barry, or mess with me. And I've said this, we said this on the show the other day, honestly, I've actually got a lot more Jalen Hurts this year than Jaden Daniels because, as we talked about, I don't think there's a big difference between those big four guys. And Allen, Jackson, Daniels always go in the third, Hurts goes in the fourth. And so I often find myself, somebody gets to Daniels before it comes to me, but then I come around in the fourth and I either get Hurts or I wait. I'm in a 12-team best ball league, super flex, and Daniels looked the third overall pick. So like I wound up with Mahomes as my quarterback in the second round. But so there you go. You see it right there. I have 5 spots between Daniels and Hurts. So I have them all as kind of like in this 25 to 35 range.
Yeah, 20-player 25, Kyron Williams, and this goes all the way down to 36 with Marvin Harrison Jr. You brought up like the value of Kittle and Hurts, Matthew. They're back-to-back at 34 and 35. Jay, a player on this board that I think, honestly, nobody knows what to do with right now because he's consistently a round 1 player, but he also can give you the value of a round 7 player. Tyreek Hill, sitting there at 32, it kind of feels like one where he's kind of in no man's land in rankings and in drafts.
Yeah, he's just got like no idea what to do with him. It just feels like Tyreek Hill's not going to end up the 33rd player in fantasy, whatever. He's going to be like 11th or he's going to be 70th or something.
Wide range of outcomes.
Don't know what to do. The thing is like athletically last year, like he's still hitting the same like max top speeds and everything. It just felt like they just weren't clicking with the offense. He's dealing with, I know, with the thumb swell, but yeah, Tyreek, he's the type of, like, if you want to take a home run swing in your draft, like, yeah, take Tyreek Hill at the end of the 3rd round if you can get it there. I just feel something is off with that team and that offense, and Jalen Waddle, I think I'm higher than most on Jalen Waddle.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Going, so
If something were to happen to Hill injury-wise,
handcuffed. Yeah, for a player that unique of a role, obviously a lot of targets schemed to them as well. Terrence Murphy comedy, getting Tyreek Hill as my wide receiver 2 is going to feed families. Yeah, you can get that value. By the way, Tribal Council blog, I see your comment in there. Can we show some more love and info to the 2 quarterback leagues? That's our next segment.
That's our next segment.
We're doing all the quarterback tiers for Superflex leagues, so don't go anywhere, but we're going to continue to get through the top 50 here. And let's pull up 25 through 36 one more time, because this is probably the most unique part of the top 50. It's elite quarterback range, it's elite tight end range, but then Matthew, you have a couple guys scattered through those that can win you the league. Ride or die Marion Hampton is in here. Devontae Adams, the health or lack thereof of Matthew Stafford can dictate what he can do in this league. And if we get the year we're hoping for from Marvin Harrison Jr., who has more talent than the 36th player taken, but he actually needs to translate that to the field this year.
for sure. And so, like, this is again, this sort of speaks to, like, if you go running back heavy, like, just sort of looking at, like, other than Kyron Williams or Omarion Hampton, like, there's no other running backs as you see on this list. I don't love the range here. So one of those 2 guys, I think, is if you're in this kind of this 3rd round area, I mostly prefer whether it's the quarterbacks, whether it's potentially the tight ends, or a couple of wide receivers. But this is not a great zone for running backs, in my opinion.
Also, just like
other than my guy,
in general, just a lot of this is where we're getting to more of the uncertainty range with guys like Tyreek, like 2 LA Rams and Kyron Williams and Devontae Adams, whose fates are somewhat tied to Matthew Stafford's health and availability. So I find that this is the place to take an elite quarterback because it's not as enamored of the running backs wide receiver.
For sure. Or, like, this is why I so much prefer a McBride or Kittle in this round than Bowers the round before.
That graphic alone is why, in the first 2 rounds, I have to have a running back this year. I just have to. And a lot of years I haven't done that. I kicked the can down the road, but you get real scary territory.
And also, like, Jonathan Taylor's going as RB8, Bucky Irving and Chase Brown are RB10 and 11. Like, I think, to me, that's the drop-off. Chase Brown at 11, because then you get into Kyron Williams, James Cook, Kenneth Walker and his foot and everything. Like, I think
Corey Cross-Camara.
Yeah,
very quickly.
Trevian Henderson.
Yes, the secondary Chublo, Chuba Hubbard. So yeah, I want
JCM and Henderson are jokes, by the way. Some people might actually take that seriously.
Right.
No, the risen up rankings are not that high. Let's not get crazy.
Well, let's close this out looking at 37 through 48. So, listen, the talk of this kind of range here is really, as you see on the board here, a lot of veterans, and then some splash rookies here, notably Teveroa McMillan on the board there at 41 there, Matthew. This is kind of a mix of high variance, Kenneth Walker's health. James Cook is under contract, so you feel good about him. But then veteran floors across the board.
And that's towards the end of this run. Like, I love all these values, right? Kamara, I think, is going to be another PPR merchant. DJ Moore, I think we're all sleeping on DJ Moore. If we all buy DJ Moore's talent, if we're all buying that Caleb's taking another step this year and it's going to be a better offense, like, DJ Moore is just sort of snoozy, but, like, he's one of the best wide receivers in the NFL, bar none. And so with improved quarterback play and improved offense, I think is what Ben Johnson's going to bring. You've got George Pickens. We've talked about him on this show before. I think getting there with Dak Prescott, I think that's going to help his career a lot. And, you know, we haven't talked a lot about Courtland Sutton this year, but this is a guy who, towards the end of last year, second half of last year, really, really strong. We all like Bo Nix. We all like Sean Payton. Offense is for fantasy. And, yes, they added Evan Ingram this year, but, like, they didn't really add, and we expect Marvin Mims to take a step, but, like, they paid Courtland Sutton. And they didn't pay him top of the market, but Courtland, I mean, like for a guy that was, whatever, a year and a half ago on the trade block, like, he's done here, you know? They got rid of Jerry Jeudy, and they paid Courtland Sutton to keep him around, so I think he's going to be the focal point of that passing offense, which last year was pretty good, and we think takes another step in year 2 of Bo Nix.
The thing with Sutton is he catches touchdowns reliably. Like, he has 18 touchdowns over the last 2 years, so when you look at him, you go, he doesn't give me the yardage that the top guys do. Well, he makes up for it with the touchdowns that Sean Payton knows how to scheme to him as well.
Yeah, he's the clear wide receiver one for a Sean Payton offense that has a good quarterback behind it. It has perhaps the best defense in football that should be giving the offense the ball with plenty of time. To me,
is there a better 50-50 ball guy than Courtland Sutton? Maybe Mike Evans in the NFL? Like
him, Drake London, Mike Evans. I mean, they're right at the top.
Right.
Of course, you have like Chase and Jefferson, but those are two chalky.
They're not 50-50 ball winners. They're just elite wide receivers across the board. I'm just saying, like
just go and make a miracle play. Courtland Sutton, we don't talk about this on the show all the time. There's like 3 times a year where Courtland Sutton has the catch of the week.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, that was very
But my point is just in that range, like I just think there's some guys that probably aren't. Pickens is probably a little buzzy, but for the most part, those guys, like no one's gonna be like when you're in your draft, no one's gonna be like, you know, ooh, DJ Moore. You know, like they'll do that when you draft Emeka Egbuka. Like, you know what I mean? Like, oh yeah, you know, or Maureen Hampton.
Travis Hunter,
like these buzzy guys. Like, no one's gonna get like, oh yeah, Courtland Sutton, good pick, or DJ Moore, Kamara. Like, they're snoozy guys, and yet they're going to outproduce their ADP.
Yeah, in this range, I've got my running back version of Tyreek Hill as Ken Walker, where same huge range of outcomes. And I think I want shares of this Clint Kubiak running scheme, where like the yards before contact in preseason looks excellent. We forget, but they look like the greatest show on turf for the first 2 weeks last year before they lost their entire offensive line, and then Derek Carr went down in New Orleans in that Kubiak scheme. So like there are worlds where Kenneth Walker could be a top 5 running back this season. And also, if you get Ken Walker, then just be okay reaching a little bit for Charbonnet.
Right, correct.
Yeah.
You're drafting a backfield.
Yeah, but I mean, damn good one. This is the point that I made in my 100 packs last year, that if you know, Charbonnet and Walker basically were a top 6 running back in fantasy football last year, and Ken Walker's going around running back 15, and Charbonnet's going in the 30s, and so in essence, to get a top 5-ish running back for those 2, I guess you have to use those 2 spots. But the brilliance of Walker and Charbonnet is that, as we've talked about, you know when to start them. Like with the Chiefs, I don't like we think Pacheco's the starter, but like week 2, and all of a sudden, like, you know, right, Kareem Hunt's going to fall in the end zone twice. Rashard Smith, like, it's, you know, like, you're not going to know when, in a lot of cases, with these kind of muddled backfields, you're not going to know when to start which guy. In the case of Seattle, you always know which week to start. I feel better about Kamara in a PPR league. Chandler Darby asks Ken Walker or Kamara as RB1.
I think Kamara has higher medium outcome. Ken Walker's got the highest ceiling. Ken Walker, I think, has a better chance to be a top 4 running back this year than Alvin Kamara, but he's also got a much bigger chance to be outside the top 20.
But I think this is a great question, right? Because again, like, so you saw my ranks, right? I have Ken Walker ranked a little bit higher than Kamara, but that's assuming at that point, because it's like running back 15 and 16, whatever it is. That's assuming that you already have a RB1. If you're telling me which one of these guys has an RB1 that is my quote unquote best starting running back, I feel better about Kamara because I feel like there's a safer floor there. To your point, Ken Walker is either going to be a top 5 running back or miss half the season. Like he's just one of those guys, and so I feel better about Kamara. Just those 2 guys, I think I feel better about Kamara as my RB1. They're obviously very close, but if you tell me I'm definitely getting Charbonnet, Chandler, then I'm good with the Seattle backfield as my RB1. I think that's a home run. It's just whether you feel you're able to get him and reach around with him to make sure you acquire Charbonnet.
NBC Sports Now is our free 24/7 streaming channel. You can get NFL news and all the biggest stories in sports starting at 7 a.m. with PFT Live, the Dan Patrick Show, the Dan Levitard Show with Stu Gotts, Fantasy Football Happy Hour with Matthew Berry, and Chris Sims Unbuttoned. Just go to NBCSports.com/now. We're taking our first break. As we got a comment here, a last-minute comment. Mr. T, sorry got here late. Did Connor tell us how's the polling match went? No, good question. I hope that card close to the best. Thank you, Mr. T. We're taking our first break. When we're back, coming up, we're going to be talking about Anthony Richardson, Daniel Jones, and all of the quarterback tiers for those of you that play Superflex. Right after this.
We sell products made out of paper, toilet tissue, and local newspapers. That is in order of quality.
My name is Ned Sampson. I am your new editor-in-chief.
Have you read this paper?
Uh-huh. It sucks. But we are going to make it better. I hope it's not too disruptive to have me shake everything up.
Don't be so self-deprecating.
God, not again.
Same old phone? Nah, this is my mic check. And this. Boiled peanuts.
So
They brag about intelligence, but no way they can
Subaru and other retailers are supporting students in high-need schools by giving millions of dollars in funding and school supplies. It's just one of the reasons Forbes ranked Subaru the #1 automotive brand for social impact. Subaru, more than a car company.
Vodka has a 97% customer satisfaction rating.
Wow. Our cats just love great customer service.
Customer service. Right.
They don't get this excited for wet food. You know?
No.
Get more than just savings. Get more with Geico.
For years, everyone thought Verizon had the best network, because they did. But now the best mobile network in the U.S. is T-Mobile. Some fancy experts finished the network test, and T-Mobile sort of opened a can of whoop-up. T-Mobile's network has the most advanced 5G, with more towers, and their signal reaches further than ever. So you can text and Insta-talk and say, "You won't believe where I am." Seriously, where am I? Hey, I got signal.
I'm Chad. I work for a professional football team, and I've been invited to be online for SNH to fit with my schedule. Mondays, Tuesdays, those are packing days. I can get all my assignments done. Wednesday, we're on the practice field. Thursday, initial discussion post is due. We're going to leave on Friday. We're planning an East Coast trip. I'm going to take advantage of the time spent on the bus, and even in the hotel room, to finish any of my other coursework that I needed to do prior to kickoff on Sunday. SNHU and the support system, they make it possible. Go to snhu.edu.
Doesn't the chicken just taste better? Well, they are raised better. And it doesn't stop there. Recyclable trays, just rolled it out. Sweet. Feed them antibiotics. Our chickens don't need them.
What about bedtime stories?
Get a large two-topping Crazy Crust pizza for $6.99 from Little Caesars. Look at that buttery flavored garlic spread sprinkled with Parmesan. Try Crazy Crust for $6.99 for a limited time.
Pizza.
But wait, I need to mention how there's over a dozen toppings to choose from.
Pizza.
But wait, I want to reiterate how legit this Crazy Crust is. It's good. Little Caesars is the real deal.
Pizza.
But wait, gotcha.
Join the conversation live, tune in daily to the NFL on NBC. And don't forget, you can still catch us on Peacock and the NBC Sports Now channel at 5 Eastern. And do not forget, we're here for the people. We are here to give you more love for the two-quarterback league, Superflex. For those that have never played Superflex, quite simply, it's not just a two-quarterback league. Which means we have the option.
Yeah, that's correct. So Superflex is different than two-quarterback league, and just, where it sense is that you don't always have to start a second quarterback. Ideally, but in a two-quarterback league, generally speaking, you have less flexibility. Like two wide receivers, two running backs, maybe a third wide receiver, tight end, and two quarterbacks, and maybe there's also a flex. But in the Superflex, usually you have more flex spots. You might have 3 or 4 flex spots, and then one of which is a super flex spot, which allows you to start running back, wide receiver, tight end, or a quarterback. And so that's what you want. In an ideal world, super flex, you're starting 2 quarterbacks, but it does give you the flexibility in case you manage to draft 2 quarterbacks that have the same bye week, or one of your guys gets injured, what have you. So that's sort of the idea there. It is my favorite way to play the League of Assholes, the league that we're all in. It is a super flex league here as well. I'm the 2-time defending champion of it, no big deal, just saying. Neither of these guys have a title in that particular league.
It's a terrible league. It's really just an abomination.
Almost on the massive flex.
No, it's terrible. You feel like clamoring to the waiver wire for Tommy DeVito Easton Stick.
How much did he once bid for Easton Stick?
I'm probably going to have money. I traded Cooper Cup.